about to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. The reason you're not wealthy has nothing to do with your income, your education, or even the economy. I know this because 5 years ago, I was making 6 figures and still living paycheck to paycheck. Then I discovered something that changed everything. And if you watch until the end of this video, I'm going to share the exact moment everything clicked and the 3-step process I used to go from negative net worth to building real wealth. But here's the catch. What I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been taught about money. Let me paint you a picture. This was me in 2019. I had a solid job, a respectable salary, all the right financial advice floating around in my head. Save 10% of your income. Cut out your daily coffee. Budget better. I tried it all. But every month, it was the same story. The money came in, the money went out, and I was left wondering why I couldn't get ahead. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you. It's not about the tactics. It's not about the budget spreadsheet or the high-yield savings account. Those things matter, but they like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic if you don't fix the real problem first. The real problem? It's invisible. It's the story you tell yourself about money every single day without even realizing it. The moment everything changed for me happened on a random Tuesday morning. I was sitting in my car in the parking lot before work, and I got a notification on my phone. My checking account was overdrawn. Again. But here's the thing. I had just gotten paid 3 days earlier. I sat there, staring at that screen, and instead of spiraling into the usual shame and stress, I asked myself a different question. What am I really doing with my money? Not the surface-level answer. Not, oh, I spent too much on groceries or that unexpected car repair got me. I mean the deep, uncomfortable truth. And that's when I realized I had a poverty mindset wrapped in a middle-class lifestyle. Let me explain what I mean. A poverty mindset isn't about how much money you have in your bank account. It's about how you relate to money in your mind. It's the voice that says, "I'll never get ahead, so why bother? Rich people are lucky or greedy. I'm neither. Money always slips through my fingers. I'm just not good with money." These weren't conscious thoughts. They were background noise. White noise. The operating system running my financial life. And as long as that operating system was running, no amount of budgeting tips or side hustles was going to change my reality. So what changed? I made one fundamental shift that rippled through everything else. I stopped seeing myself as someone who was bad with money, and I started seeing myself as someone who was building wealth. I know that sounds simple. Maybe even too simple. But stay with me, because this is where it gets powerful. See, most people treat wealth building like a destination. Once I make X amount, then I'll be wealthy. Then I'll invest. Then I'll think like a rich person. But that's backwards. Here's the truth. Wealthy people don't think differently because they have money. They have money because they think differently. Let me give you a concrete example from my own life. Before my shift, when I got my paycheck, my first thought was, okay, what bills do I need to pay? What do I owe? I was operating from scarcity, from debt, from obligation. After my shift, when I got my paycheck, my first thought became, okay, what am I investing in this month? How am I making my money work for me? Same paycheck. Completely different question. That one shift, from what do I owe, to what am I building, changed everything. But here's where most people get stuck. They hear this and think, great, I'll just think positive thoughts about money and magically get rich. No. This isn't manifestation. This isn't the law of attraction. This is cognitive behavioral economics. Your beliefs create your behaviors. Your behaviors create your results. If you believe money is scarce and hard to keep, you'll behave in ways that prove that belief true. You'll overspend to feel temporary abundance. You'll avoid looking at your accounts because they trigger shame. You'll make short-term decisions that feel good now but hurt you later. But when you shift your identity, when you start seeing yourself as a wealth builder, your behaviors automatically align. You start asking better questions. You start making different choices, not out of deprivation or discipline, but out of alignment with who you are. I started small. I didn't overhaul my entire life overnight. I made one decision that reflected my new identity. I automated $50 a month into an investment account. That's it. Was $50 going to make me rich? Of course not. But that wasn't the point. The point was proving to myself that I was someone who invested. Someone who built wealth. Someone whose money worked for them. Now, I want to address the 3 mental barriers that keep most people trapped in a poverty mindset, even when they're making good money. Barrier number 1, the guilt tax. This is when you feel guilty about having money or spending money on yourself. Maybe you grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees or we can't afford that. So now, even when you can afford something, you feel guilty. The guilt tax shows up as self-sabotage. You make money, then immediately find a way to get rid of it because deep down, you don't feel worthy of having it. I used to do this all the time. I get a bonus and immediately blow it on things I didn't need because I felt uncomfortable having money in my account. The solution? I had to separate my worth as a person from my net worth as a financial metric. They're not the same thing. Barrier number 2, the scarcity script. This is the belief that there's only so much money to go around. That if someone else wins, you lose. That opportunities are rare and you have to grab them now or miss out forever. The scarcity script makes you make desperate decisions. It makes you fall for get-rich-quick schemes. It makes you stay in jobs you hate because you're terrified of losing security. The truth? Money is abundant. Opportunities are abundant. But you have to believe that before you can see it. When I shifted to an abundance mindset, I started noticing opportunities everywhere. Not because they weren't there before, but because I wasn't looking for them. Barrier number 3, the comparison trap. This is when you measure your progress against everyone else's highlight reel. You see someone buy a house and think you're behind. You see someone's vacation photos and think you're failing. The comparison trap steals your joy and your strategy. Because you start making financial decisions based on what other people are doing instead of what's right for your life and your goals. I broke free from this when I realized that wealth is personal. Your version of financial success doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Maybe for you, it's freedom to travel. Maybe it's security for your family. Maybe it's retiring early. Maybe it's building a business. There's no one right answer. All right, so how do you actually make this shift? Let me give you the 3-step process I used. Step 1. Audit your money story. For 1 week, pay attention to your thoughts about money. Not your actions, your thoughts. When you see your bank balance, what's the first thing you think? When someone mentions wealth or success, what comes up for you? Write it down. Get it out of your head and onto paper. You can't change what you can't see. Step 2. Choose your new identity. This is where you decide who you're becoming. Not who you are right now, but who you're committed to becoming. Are you a wealth builder? An investor? Someone who makes their money work for them? Write one sentence that captures this identity. Mine was, I am someone who builds lasting wealth through intentional decisions. Say it out loud. Put it somewhere you'll see it daily. Step 3. Take one identity-aligned action. This is crucial. You need proof that you're this new person. So take any action, no matter how small, that aligns with your new identity. If you're a wealth builder, open an investment account, even if you start with $10. If you're someone who makes money work for them, automate one transfer to savings. If you're financially empowered, check your accounts and face the numbers. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is that it's proof, evidence, a vote for your new identity. Here's what happened for me. Within 6 months of making that mindset shift and taking consistent identity-aligned actions, I paid off $15,000 in credit card debt. Not because I suddenly made more money, but because I stopped operating from scarcity and started operating from strategy. Within a year, I had built a 6-month emergency fund. Look, I'm not going to tell you this is easy. Changing your mindset is harder than following a budget because you're rewiring years of conditioning. But it's also the only thing that creates lasting change. You can have all the financial knowledge in the world, but if your mindset is stuck in scarcity, you'll never build the wealth you're capable of. The beautiful thing? You can start right now. Today. This moment. You don't need more money to start thinking like a wealth builder. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait until conditions are perfect. You just need to make the decision. So here's my challenge to you. Before you go to bed tonight, complete step 1. Audit your money story. Write down what you currently believe about money. Get it out of your head. Then tomorrow, complete step 2. Choose your new identity. Write your one sentence. And by the end of this week, complete step 3. Take one action that proves you're becoming that person. If you do these 3 steps, I guarantee you'll feel different about money. And when you feel different, you act different. And when you act different, you get different results. That's how you change your net worth, by changing your mindset first. If this video helped you, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm going to keep dropping content that helps you build real wealth from the inside out. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one money belief you're ready to let go of? I read every comment, and I want to know what resonates with you. And if you want to go deeper on this, I've linked some resources in the description, including a free mindset audit worksheet that walks you through all 3 steps in detail. Remember, the only difference between where you are and where you want to be is the story you're retelling yourself. Change the story, change your life. I'll see you in the next video.